Welcome back to another episode of the Cage Walk podcast with Kayla, presented by OddSmoker MMA. Today I have Louise Jericho Unzueta with me.
Close, close. I like it. Like I said, I'll take your best effort.
Y'all, I'm sorry, trying to get his name right. Thank you so much for joining. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm kind of at that like in between part of my day where I had my morning workout in, I had my morning work where I made some money, and now I got a little tiny break before I get my second session in later tonight with my team.
Yeah, you're definitely training hard. You've got an upcoming fight on June 7th with Chicago Cagefighting Championship. Before we dive into that, I want to get some history on you. And let's talk about your early years and what got you in MMA and training.
Yeah, so I'm like I'll even start at like the beginning of my like just athleticism and stuff like that. Growing up, probably starting from about 4 to 5 years old, I played hardcore team sports. So football, baseball, basketball. Every year it was just rotating, going from one sport to that sport, then to the next one, depending on what season it was in. Yeah, so I did all that all the way up until 18, and then once it was time for college, I original plan was to play college football. Um, did not work out. Most of it was just the school part of it, and then not so much the athletic part of it. I came back home and I started working, and I was looking for competition just because that's what I always did from 4 all the way until 18. It was competition, going to practice after school every single day. And now there's no more school, and now there's no more competition, so I felt a little lost. And at the time, I was just starting to just literally learn about UFC and mixed martial arts from my friends and just like video games and things like that. And I'm like, oh my god, like this is like the coolest shit ever. I was playing football, baseball, basketball, and none of that is even coming close to UFC. This is like real deal fighting. I knew like about like pro wrestling, like WWE, and I thought that was kind of cool just from the combat. But then when you find out that that shit's not real and UFC is the real deal, fighting
Yeah.
these people are fighting to basically the death, and the only thing stopping the death part is the referee,
Yeah.
honestly. And I was like, man, that's the coolest thing ever. And at the time, maybe it was like 2016 or something like that. Conor McGregor was like at the top. He had just beat, I don't know, I think he just beat Jose Aldo or something like that. And then he fought Nate Diaz. And then
Hmm.
I was like, okay, that's a pretty cool fight. Let me like, that's the first time ever like watching an actual fight, getting ready to watch a fight, like getting hyped for a fight. And I think Conor McGregor's like the best dude around. Like he's not gonna fucking lose to anyone. He's the coolest motherfucker. He's got all that money. He's so cool. And then he loses to Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz chokes him out. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like how did this guy just lose? He was the best dude in the world. How is he losing to this skinny fat Mexican dude? You know, Nate Diaz doesn't look like the best fighter in the world. That's just from my lack of knowledge, my ignorance in the sport. But from the outside, I'm like, how the fuck did this dude win? And then I found out he used jujitsu. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay. I was like, I want to get into this sport. I was like, let me learn jujitsu because he just beat the best guy in the world using jujitsu, and I was like, let me learn jujitsu. So from there, I took out my phone. I looked up the nearest jujitsu, and it was in Homewood, a town nearby. It's from where I was living, and I took a jujitsu class, and I got pretty good, pretty fast, just off being a pretty good athlete my whole life and being in pretty good shape. But obviously, it was a stepping stones, and I was at a small jujitsu school, and I, like I said, my whole intentions of joining jiu-jitsu was to fight because I wanted to eventually learn how to fight and take an MMA fight. And man, I'm talking like 6 months of jiu-jitsu. I was like, let me fight. So I filled out one of those questionnaires of those promoters, those matchmakers looking for a fight. I took a fight with 6 months of experience, 6 months of jiu-jitsu, and I lost. Like I deserve to lose. I mean, 6 months of training, you're not prepared for a fight.
Yeah.
But that loss led me to I had a mutual friend through. I worked with his mother, but Bo Samaniego was kind of like on my radar. I knew his mom, and I knew we had mutual friends. And he hit me up on Facebook, and he was like, "Yo, if you really want to train, come to my gym. This is an actual gym where we actually learn how to fight. It's not just a jiu-jitsu gym where you got moms walking through the door. We got professional fighters here. Come through." And that's what I did. And then I found that gym, Gilbert Grappling, where I am currently training, and I found my coach, Dan Gilbert. I found all my amazing teammates, and the rest is really just history. Yeah, actually learning how to fight and learning how to really get beat up and give beatings, you know, and actually going through that beginning stage where it really is hardcore training, and it's not just doing jujitsu and putting on a gi and doing a little bit of technique, which I'm not knocking, but it's going through the grind of being a fighter in an actual fight gym with other fighters as well. So that's a little bit of a background on my start in MMA.
That's, I think, one of the best stories I've heard so far. I love that. And it was funny. I couldn't help but laugh when you said about doing jujitsu and going in for a MMA fight. No, wait, is that what you did? You went straight to an MMA fight
I
after
did
six
a
months.
second MMA fight was just like literally doing jujitsu and a gi, doing a couple of judo classes, and like my coach, who wasn't like a striking coach at all, just holding pads for me. And I was like, all right, let me go fight this guy, and it did not go well. Did not go well.
Well, thankful to your friends, whatever, getting you into a new gym, and that's one thing I'm learning with talking to fighters. That it's all a learning experience. Like, you found the motivation, you found the inspiration, you did what you thought you had to do, but then you made those connections and look where you're at now. Definitely an amazing story how you got into it.
Yeah, and
And
like you were saying, like the learning part. I learned so much from my teammates and things like that, and people will like maybe see me spar, or maybe they'll see me fight and think that like I have some like crazy kickboxing coach, or I have some crazy like boxing coach. I mean, I learned everything I know at Gilbert Grappling. Everything I know, my boxing, my kickboxing, my jujitsu, my hardcore, just straight, all my MMA skills come from my coach and my teammates.
yeah,
Everything I'm like homegrown as it gets when it comes to Gilbert grappling, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of like how far I've come in my career using what I have just in my home gym. I'm not saying I'm never gonna do any cross training or anything like that, or I'm not maybe gonna find another coach, but I love where I'm at right now, and I love my family that's at Gilbert grappling.
that's awesome. That is amazing to find that home in your spot. And I think that's what fighters need. They need that home gym. They need that one place where they truly just build and have that support. Yeah, you travel for fights, you're going to cross train, but in
Yeah,
the day, you know where your home gym is. You know where you need to be. The fact you found that, that's awesome. Um, I'm going to jump now to your upcoming fight. Actually, before I get there, let me ask you a couple other questions. Just because we're talking about you getting into it and everything. So since getting involved in MMA and training and everything, what has been the most rewarding aspect of it?
most rewarding aspects. Um, Man, I would say like just getting my teammates and just like really diving into this world of combat, because now like my full time job is fighting, teaching people how to fight, teaching like private lessons and stuff like that. I'm going from one gym to the next gym to my home gym to another gym to another gym every single day. I'm like fully like all in right now with fighting, and I'm super thankful for that because I do typically enjoy my days. Like I'm not going into the office and I'm not working on like super boring things where I'm not interested. Everything I'm doing, I'm invested in. I'm doing because I love it. Like I could easily be doing other things and making more money. I know that I'm doing that. That I have that option to make more money doing a lot more boring things, a lot harder work. But I like the hard work that I'm going to enjoy, and that's gonna kind of benefit my schedule. Like everything that I'm doing is going towards fighting right now, and
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that because I enjoy my day to day activities. Like I said, I'm going from a gym to the next gym. Like you can't be too mad at that. You know what I mean?
Any day, I think a lot of people would agree. I'd rather make less money doing what I love
Hell yeah,
than something making more money and doing something I hate. Because what's the point
all
of
day,
living then?
all day. Like that stuff's. I think that's. I mean, I'm not gonna say that time is like on my side, but like that's gonna be waiting for me. I know I'm not gonna fight forever. I'm gonna
Yeah,
fight while I'm young, while I know I could fight, while I'm in the best shape as I could fight. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
absolutely. I love that mindset.
And then another rewarding thing is, man, there's nothing better than winning a fight. There's literally nothing better in the world than that feeling when you knock someone out or when you put someone to sleep, and then you just can't literally you can't beat that. So that's a high that like all fighters are chasing, whether they say it or not.
Yeah, yeah. I think, especially too, I've never experienced fighting, but when you do win that fit and everyone's cheering for you, I mean, that has to be an amazing feeling, like your hands being raised, you're announced as the winner, and everyone there is just clapping for you. You
Yeah,
know?
and it's a part of it that is, I think, the ego of like, yeah, you want to be the man. You want to be the man that just beat that other man. You both stepped in the cage. You had the same tools, your body versus his body. You want to win. But there's also the fact about me mentally. I know the amount of work I put in and the amount of like time I sacrificed, other things that I sacrificed to get it done, and that's why it makes it worth it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what it is. You know?
Yeah,
That's definitely.
and then going back on like the sacrifices and things like that, it is a big like I do sacrifice. Like I said, I sacrifice making more money to dedicate my time to this, but I also sacrifice time away from my family, my immediate family, like my mom and my siblings and things like that, and my cousins, all that stuff. I time away from them. Like I miss family parties and stuff all the time just because I'm busy. I have to train sometimes, or I can't really take the day off, or I have to go do this training session done, and I take away time from my girlfriend and my girlfriend's daughter that we just recently moved in together. And if it's a training camp where I gotta train twice a day and also gotta work my job, that doesn't leave a lot of time for me to be home. But like I said, it's a sacrifice, and like this is all building towards something. I want this all to be worth it. I don't want to just sacrifice this time and I'm not for nothing just because I like doing it. I want to just make the most out of this. And I'm glad
Yeah.
I have my everyone in my family is super supportive of me as well.
I was just going to ask what the support with your family is because you are away, and one, congratulations, moving in with your girlfriend. That's amazing. How are you dealing with that balance? And if you don't mind me asking, how is she dealing with it? Because that takes a toll on relationships. When you don't have that time together. And
For sure.
sure
Uh,
she's understanding of it. But let's dive into that a little bit.
yeah, it's a challenge, but you just have to find someone that loves you because I could be there maybe 10% of the day, or I could see her 10% of the day, but first, I'm not going to make that 10% count. I'm not going to make sure that if I'm only going to get 15% of the day, I'm going to just make sure that she gets that full 15% of the day, which can be hard when I'm exhausted, but that's on me. That's when it comes pressure on me to make sure I'm there for her when the time I'm allowed to. And then when I get a fight and I get past the fight, the next before I hop into another fight camp, again, I have more time right now, so I'm gonna make sure she gets that time and my family gets that time because I can. And then when I can't, that's when things do get a little bit hard. No matter how much you care about someone, you do miss them. You want to be with them. You want to spend the time with them, and it's hard when your time is spread so thin. But like I said, you just got to find the right person.
Yeah, and you say, the fact she supports you and your and not just her, your whole family, 'cause I mean, it takes a toll on your relationship with your mom, dad, cousins, especially if you're a super close family. So that's great that you do have that support from people outside your gym, who are cheering for you, rooting for you, and understanding. And that's what a lot of fighters need, just to have that support, because then you're doing this for a reason.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then another thing is like I don't know. It doesn't matter how hard my day was, whether man I lost every single round in kickboxing sparring today, or I lost every single round in like jujitsu today. But I'm still gonna go home. I still got my girl waiting for me at home. I'm gonna have a good meal when I go home. So it's
yeah,
hard to be mad about my day when I know I always got my family at home waiting for me. Things
that's
like
awesome. That's great. I love it. And so let's jump into your fight camp. Fight camp is going to be ending. If it has, coming to an end, your fight's next weekend.
yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm peaking right now. I feel like I cannot get in better shape than I am right now. I'm looking sharp. Next week is just going to be the hard part of cutting weight, but I'm ready to go, man. I kind of went from I fought in March, and it's June now, so just only a few months, and I took maybe a few days off right after my fight, but I really went right back into it. I'm coming off a loss right now, which I haven't lost in a few years, so it's definitely. I'm ready to go. I need to get this win back, and I'm ready to prove that I'm better than I showed my last fight.
Yeah. With your yeah, I did was looking at your record, and I mean, you have an amazing record. I mean, I've gone back and looked at some highlights. You are a great fighter. Is this fight? after this fight, or just in general, what do you want for your career? Where do you want to go after this fight?
After this fight, after I get this first round finish, that's gonna for sure happen. First round finish, I'm calling it right now. After I get my first round finish, I want to fight as soon as possible and for the biggest promotion possible. Lately, I've been fighting locally just because at this point, I'm gonna make solid money fighting locally. I have a pretty good fan base, and I know if I fight in somewhere in the state, I'm gonna sell a lot of tickets. So my fans are going to come out, and that's going to help me make a lot of money because I'm sure everyone knows at this point of your pro career, your first few fights, you're not making a ton of money. So I think it
Right.
makes more sense for me to fight locally. But after a couple fights local, I want to fight on the biggest shows, and I feel like that's my whole team's goal is keep fighting, keep getting on the bigger shows, and make the most money possible.
That's awesome. The fact that you it's more of a let's get through these few fights, then let's see what happens kind of thing. Like you're not in a rush to do anything. You know that right now, like you said. I mean, stick with the smaller fight or the small, not smaller promotions, but local
Oh,
promotions,
yeah,
so you can build that up, build more wins. And like I said, you are coming off a loss, so the fact that you want to stay in a couple local to get those, make up for those couple losses that you've had, or loss, not couple, your last loss,
yeah,
and then go from there. That's instead of just going straight in. I think it's good to have a game plan, be prepared, and just keep
yeah. And
on building.
another huge thing is I trust my coach. Like I trust him. Like I know he's making decisions. He's gonna make the next fight what's right for me, and like for all my teammates the same way. Like so, I just have to. I'm just gonna keep following his lead.
Yeah. And coaches are the best people, definitely. To
Yeah, he's that's the guy that you just know he's on your side. You know he's looking out for you. You know.
during this camp, has there been anything challenging that hasn't been a challenge before?
Nothing new. I think the biggest challenge is just staying healthy because I'm sure like all fighters we want to train all the time and we want to train every single day, twice a day, 3 times a day. But sometimes your body just will not allow it, and then small things run in the way, like small injuries. But luckily, I haven't had anything major, so no, I haven't had too much problem this training camp.
Which is great. You obviously don't want to have challenges in a camp, but it happens.
No, yes, like I said, like that. Those are the things is just that just make it harder. Like everyone's gonna go into a fight injured, but getting through the training camp while you have the energy and still getting to the peak level of your fitness and your game.
Um, with camp and weight cut, everyone hates weight cut. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Um,
and then I just recently this past fight was my first fight fighting at 145, so this is gonna be my second go at making 145.
how was that transition?
It was different, definitely. Because my fights before, I really didn't cut too much weight, maybe like 5, 7 pounds, something like that. So I wasn't really super down there within the cut, but like 145 is another ball game. That's an extra 10 pounds, and so I have to be more calculated. I think with when it comes to those last few weeks with my intake and my output at the same time. But luckily, my team. I got my team. I got teammates. Almost all my teammates are 145ers that have done this same exact cut. So I got like brains to pick from, and I got people to help me out with the cut, which is like an also a huge thing. Having people that are there to help me, like because they've done it before. They've done it time and time and time again. And even though they'll tell me it's not going to be easy, but just having the ingredients to make the cake, you know.
Yeah, at least they don't sugarcoat it. It's gonna suck, but they have your back and they're supportive. And I said a little bit ago, I mean, that's what it all is, to have that support so you can do this. And just support from everybody around you, which definitely you have. So I wanted to ask with weight cut, obviously, as soon as you get off those scales, like, do you have a go-to meal?
Man, I don't have a go-to meal. Just man, I just want to eat fucking everything, and drink everything. But no, not. I'm trying to think of a go-to meal. This last camp, my girl had made it was a steak, shrimp, and pasta. That was like the big meal. I was eating a bunch of other stuff too, like trying to get my carbs up and stuff like that. But that was like my dinner when I got home from weigh-ins, and it was excellent. It was
That
excellent.
sounds
So
amazing.
I don't know if I want to run that back. I did feel pretty good like going into it. I think I rehydrated and everything like that very well. But I don't know. I might mix it up. But maybe the next time I talk to you, I'll have the updated final good meal for that last meal.
I like to ask some fun questions because some fighters, they have like a tradition. Like after weigh-ins, they go to this place where they make this heat, or after the fight,
Right. Uh,
they go to wherever. So, and I just like to ask fun questions. Part of my podcast too. I just get to know the fighter. I don't like to be the same old house camp, which we want to know,
yeah.
obviously. But I like to add in some fun questions too. Like my next one, you did mention that you watch Conor McGregor. So do you like, or do you like? Obviously, you like UFC. Do you have a favorite fighter who is an inspiration to you or anything?
Favorite fighter. I wouldn't say I have a favorite fighter, but just because I don't know. Once I got into the game, it felt weird having favorite fighters. I do keep up with like UFC though. I watch. I try to keep watch every single card. If I'm not watching the card, I'm like looking to see who wins, just because I don't know. I feel like ever since I got into the sport, and I think I got into the sport so late. I was already like 18, like 17, 18, 19 when I got into the sport. I feel like I had a lot of research to do, so like I'm trying to keep up, and I'm still trying to catch up on the past of like who won certain fights and how they got to certain rankings and things like that. And I have become an MMA nerd in the few the how was it like 8 years since I've been doing this sport.
Uh, I can't relate. I'm definitely. I mean, I'm a nerd for
I was
MMA,
gonna
but I'm
say,
still learning.
I'm sure
I'm like,
you're,
I still
you're
kind of learn
deep in
every
that
day.
game for sure. Yeah, but it is that it's an endless black hole. You know what I mean? Like you go into one fighter and then you watch their fight, like, oh damn, how did they lose to this one? You look at their tapology, boom, you're on some fighter in freaking China that has only fought like 3 times somehow. It's an endless
Yeah,
black.
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Definitely. Um, okay, so because you don't have a favorite fighter, here's a question you might like to answer. Obviously, theoretically, if you could fight any fighter on the roster, past or present, who would you want to fight and why?
Ooh, I feel like, man, I want to fight Nate Diaz. That would be a fun fight. That'd be a fun fight. I think me and him we would trade. And yeah, that would be a banger for sure. And it would
Yeah.
just be cool as hell, just like standing across from him. And I feel like both of our styles, obviously he's very high level, but
Mhm.
I could stand in there. I'm not afraid to stand across from anybody and trade shots. So I'll think I'm down to exchange at any level. I think at this point in my career. So yeah, that would be sick. I think fighting ideas would be super cool.
Okay. I just said fun questions. Let's see. What's your favorite way to unwind after a fight?
Ooh, my favorite way to unwind. So I'm very, very high into like Marvel, like comic books and stuff like that, and like I really like Spider Man too. So my favorite thing to do is like watch YouTube videos, like breaking that stuff down, and like people will call me the biggest nerd in the world. My girlfriend makes fun of me for it, but like say like I don't know, maybe like a movie came out or something like that, a Marvel movie. I'll watch videos on like the movie talking about it, like maybe why this character did certain things, just like breakdowns of it. Just because, just like going to like literally when I was like like maybe a few years ago, my part of my career when I was like less busy, I wasn't working as much, and I didn't have a girlfriend, I didn't have a family, anything like that. Where when I got home from practice, the first thing I would do is turn on YouTube and get one of those videos going, and then I would do all my home stuff. I would cook with those videos on, things like that, or just because that's the Marvel world. That's like just like MMA. Like it's a black hole. You're never gonna know all of it, and I want to know all of it because I think it's just super cool, and like just learning about all the characters and things like that, which could be it's nerdy to some people, but like I don't really care anymore. I got to a point in my life where I don't care what anyone thinks about me at all. I
You
I like
can't.
I like Spider Man. I got a Spider Man tattoo. I all of a sudden I wanted to shave my head. I was bald. Wanted earrings. I got earrings now. So I think that was a big part of my life of not really giving a fuck what anybody thinks about me, doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, with the people that I want to do it, whether it's fighting for a living, which I never thought I would do when I was in high school. Like, oh, you're gonna be a professional fighter when you grow up. That was never the plan, but look at me now.
I mean, things, everything happens for a reason. And going back to the Marvel real quick, with it being a black hole, I cannot watch. I love Marvel movies. I think they are amazing. They
Uh,
piss me off because I go down the little rabbit hole trying to figure out these things. And I just like, you know what, I can't do it. So whenever I watch a movie, I just don't ask questions because then I'll stay up pissed trying to figure everything out. I'm
yeah,
a late Marvel fan. Okay, I just started watching Marvel, so I'm really far behind.
yeah,
And
and like,
so, and then the shows you have, like the TV shows. I'm like,
oh,
well, who's this?
there's a lot of stuff, and like the thing is, like, I grew up on like comic books and things like that, where none of these people were ever on the screen. It was just on paper. So now all these characters are coming, like they're basically like coming to life for me. So it's like,
Mhm.
to me, that's freaking crazy. Like, it's an awesome time to be alive right now. This character that I never thought I would ever see, like in person, they're on TV screens now. So like, look, like younger me is going nuts right now.
Yeah, it's insane how much has changed and what's being brought in, and I'm just like, I give up. Like, I'll watch it, but don't ask me any questions, and I'll just be like, what? And if I ask
Yeah.
questions, I'm not gonna get the answers I would like, and I'm just like,
And that
whatever.
with my girlfriend, I'm like, when she started dating me, she had very little knowledge, but now I got her in like high gear knowledge right now. I'm super proud of like the stuff that she knows and like the things that she knows right away. And I'm like, oh, sometimes I'll ask her, I'm like, you know what that means? And she'll be like, she'll actually get it right. And she'll actually will know the characters and like know the backstory about some of the stuff. She's got a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong, in the Marvel categories, but she's
Hey, at least you have someone you can nerd out with.
for
My
sure.
husband over here, like he tries. I'm just like, he was really watching Daredevil. I'm like, who's that?
But like, man, Daredevil was an awesome show. Did you guys watch it?
He's watching it. I couldn't. I have to, but I was like, who's that? He looked at me crazy. He's like, what did you just say?
Yeah. See, like,
I'm
I
like,
would look at you like that too. I would be like,
yeah, he was not impressed. That was a fail part on my end. Two more questions.
yeah.
I don't want to keep you too long just because you are in that brief moment. I'm sure you want to go spend some time with your family. Um, what has been the most important thing you've learned throughout your training career?
Um, important. Probably the most important thing that I learned was do not freaking quit. Do not quit. I came into my gym with a loss, and then that was like the people were telling me like, just don't quit. You're gonna get another fight. You're gonna win those fights and things like that. I lost again, and then same thing. My team is there. Just don't quit. Just keep going. Just keep training. There's always something next coming. And whether it's a situation where someone's got you full mount and you got to keep moving to get out of that position, don't quit, or you just lost a fight and you got to get your ass back in the gym and take the next fight. And that aspect of not quitting. But I think just not quitting in general and just being a fighter and um, being kind of nasty with it is another thing that I learned from my team. Sometimes you got to be nasty, and sometimes you got to be a little bit mean, and take what you want, and be a fighter, and just everything that comes with that.
Most definitely. That's a good thing word. Never give up and just do it. Just do the damn thing.
Do the damn thing.
So with your fight coming up on June 7th, do you have any words to your opponent?
Um, Man, just show up, show up. And there's gonna be exchanges, and hey, just show up.
Please show up. No,
Please, please show up.
I'm begging you, please. I want. No, I know, and I know dropouts suck. I've
I
talked to.
think he's gonna show up. I'm not saying that I don't think he's gonna show up, but I'm not expecting anything out of him. I just want him to show up. We're gonna throw hands. There's gonna be exchanges. Let's see who win those exchanges. I think I'm gonna win those exchanges. I'm sure he thinks he's gonna win those exchanges, but let's see what happens when you're
Yeah,
standing right across from me and you gotta avoid me punching you in the face.
you said what? I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit.
I then then when we're across from each other and he's got to avoid the punches coming his way because I
Okay.
I just don't think that he's gonna be able to make me miss, and I don't think he's going to be able to hit me. So
I hope. Is this fight going to be streamed anywhere? I would love to watch this fight, and I would love to get as many viewers to you as possible.
yeah, there's going to be a link through Millions actually, because Chicago Cagefighting Championship, it works through Millions, so they'll have a link through them, and then I'll post that in my bio for everyone to click it. I think it's going to be like $15-$20, something like that, for
Okay.
the pay per view.
Nice. Well, I'll definitely be tuning in for that. Louise, where can my viewers and any new viewers find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Luis Jericho Unzueta, or at Luis J Unzueta is my handle. Yeah, I'm fighting on June 7th in Cicero, Illinois, against Thomas Caballero. I'm gonna beat him up real bad. I'm gonna finish him. I want to finish him in the first round. I think I'm due for a finish.
Well, I cannot wait for that fight, man. You go knock him out. You get that finish. I'm gonna get it.
You're getting better each time. It's good. Just gonna take some practice. All right. I appreciate you so much, Kayla.
Of course, you have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Bye.